Hi, welcome to Pain into Peace story time. When I had a, I feel, even though we lived in great poverty, I feel like with the people that I was around, my two brothers, I was a really happy person, and I had like a lot of friends at the time. So we used to go to, we used to go bike riding, and um, and go to this park, and it was so cool because we was like, and it was like apples on the tree across the street from this park. It was like an apple tree, and the lady used to like allow us to pick the apples from the tree. So I again have forgiven everyone who done ill will to me and wrong. I just must say that all the time, everyone, because I have a heart of gold. So this particular time, I asked my mom, "Hey, could we go bike riding?" And I had a black and pink 10 speed. I have this older brother who had a step brother on his dad's side because we didn't have the same dad. Only my two brothers and me had the same dad. And my older brother, him and his two sisters had the same dad. And then my younger sister, she had her own dad. So he always came over and stuff and spent the summer with us, which was pretty cool, which didn't bother us or anything. Didn't We didn't have a problem with it. I didn't have a problem with it or anything. Um, you know, at that time, look, at the time, it just was a childhood, is what I was really experiencing. Moving on to the story time. So my bike is sitting outside in the backyard with my younger sister, and I'm ready to pick up my cousin. So my brother, my older brother's, he's my half brother, and that's his step brother. He was like, "Hey, let me use your bike real quick." And I said, "No, because I'm about to get ready to go." And he was like, "Let me just use it. Let me just use your bike." And I was like, "No, because we're about to get ready to go to the park." So as I'm getting on my bike, he pushes me very hard on the ground with the bike, and I hit the concrete. I didn't think anything of it, I was just like, "Ow, why did you do that?" He was like, "Because you're being stupid and you didn't let me use your bike." And I was like, "Okay, but we're about to go. We're finna go to the park, so I can't." So he proceeded to just like whatever, shoot me off because he wanted to use my bike to go, I don't know, up the street or something, whatever. So I didn't think nothing of it. So we go to the park and we have fun that day, or whatever. And I woke up and my collarbone was sticking out of my like shoulder. It was broke, and and so I told I literally told my mom like my arm is hurting, like it was just like hanging to the side, like it was broke. And I think I walked around for like maybe a week and a half before my mom's sister came over, and I think I was sitting on the couch, and then she asked me to do something, and when I got up, my arm it pretty much looked like it had no use to it, and she asked my mom what's wrong with her arm, and my mom said, "I don't know, she got pushed off the bike," and she said they called each other sis. She said, "Sis, I think you need to take her to the hospital." So my mom, she wasn't happy about it, And then in the midst of it, she was like, "Okay, fine." So she takes me to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, when we got to the hospital, um, the doctor had expressed to my mom how long had my arm been broken, and my mom was like, "I'm at this time, I'm like 10, 11. I'm like 11 years old, and at this time, my mom was like, I don't know, it just happened." He said, "This didn't just happen." And she said, No, it just happened." And he said, "It didn't, because um, my bone has started growing back, but in a different way. It started mending itself back." So he was really upset. He was mad at my mom because he said, "This look like it's happened, like," he said, "the way her bone is growing back, this looks like it had occurred like months ago, and she's been walking around like this because the bone is down, mending itself back." So my mom told him, like, "No, it, like it just happened." So he told me, "I'm sorry. This is a disclaimer." He said, "I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to." He was talking. He was yelling at my mom, like all in her face, very yelling, like, "This couldn't have happened yesterday. This couldn't have happened today. This bone, this like it occurred months ago, like months ago. Look at this." And they had took X-rays, and he was like, "Her bone is growing completely back to itself." So he said, "But it's growing wrong." And so my mom was like, um, he asked me what happened, and I said, "I fell off the bike." And he was like, "You fell off the bike?" I said, I fell off a bike. I fell off the bike." He said, "Nobody did this to you?" I said, "No, I fell off the bike." So they take my mom like to the back, like threatening to call what they call CPS on her. So she just, I told them that I fell off the bike. They were just looking at my shoulder like, "It's growing back together. Your bone is literally mending itself back together." So since it was growing incorrect, he had to break my shoulder, my collarbone, all over again. The pain, the excruciating pain that was inflicted upon me was so horrendous. He was like crying. He said, "I'm so sorry." But he broke it. I It was so painful. And then he said, "You have to wear like a collar." I had to wear like a brace on my to keep my shoulders like straight. And he said, "You gotta wear this every single day." I wore it for like, it felt like a year. It felt like a year. Order for my collarbone to grow correctly, because he had to break it because he told me it was growing incorrectly. So I had to wear this brace. I felt embarrassed about the brace. I felt um, like I already felt I looked weird, so that just added on to it. But eventually, the bone started growing correctly because I was wearing the brace because they wanted me to. And once I couldn't ride my bike because it hurted when I first put the brace on, because he had broke the collarbone. He re-broke it, and once the brace was put on, it was so painful. It really was. It was excruciating pain that that was afflicted upon me to deal with. I've forgiven the person who did it, the person that's no longer here on this earth. Um, but I didn't act upset or mad about it. But he couldn't come back to our house after that. Yeah. I've forgiven everyone. As I always said, this is my testimony of pain into peace. And that was pain. And of course, you had to go into peace to deal with it. Thank you.